Hammer time.
Here we go. It's time for Hammers. It's Friday. Weather is conducive for movie watching and national security front and center in this week's edition.
Ripped right from the headlines. We're talking Snowden, of course, Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing the man who has been dubbed a traitor and a hero, depending on who you ask, but he was an NSA contractor turned whistleblower who leaked thousands of classified documents to the public that highlighted the NSA's illegal surveillance techniques. They were essentially spying on their own people. Here he is in the iconic role.
What is that? Is that some video that she sent somebody?
No, this is live. Out of Paris.
What do you mean live?
Optic nerve? It's camera and mic activation.
I wish we could take credit, but the Brits wrote it.
Activation? Yeah, her laptop's off. Or it was, she just forgot to close it. Of course, how would she know? She's so sly, the webcam light doesn't even turn on.
Yeah, that's why he put the little tape on the webcam on the laptop, right?
Oliver Stone at the helm of this movie. Now, is this this art of storytelling, is this about what Snowden did, or is this more the psychology of why he did it?
Both, actually. Does a very interesting sort of character study on who Snowden was or is and what's going through his mind during this whole process, and meticulously details all the steps and the process that got him to that point where it galvanized him really to say the public needs to know about this. So it starts in his early days in the military and goes from there. It's very subtle, Oliver Stone. And you know what? I prefer that, though, to the the sort of heavy-handed, over-stylized approach that he does to a lot of his movies. So in that sense, it plays out like a very standard, as we call it, paint-by-numbers biopic. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt has become such a seasoned dramatic actor that he carries the film so well. Always watchable and will spark a very timely discussion when you come out of there. The one thing I didn't really care for was the romantic subplot with Shailene Woodley. I understand they were trying to humanize him and show the tension that this whole thing put on his relationship, but those scenes kind of fell flat, and they were really overshadowed by the intrigue of the politics that were going on, because this is real life kind of spycraft stuff, and it just happened, you know, just over 10 years ago that this was all sort of culminating. So, I mean, Snowden is still trying to get pardoned. He's still living in Moscow, so a fascinating character study here, and really buoyed nicely by Joseph Gordon-Levitt's immense talents.
How many hammers?
Does have its flaws, but it's still very watchable, and I recommend it. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And on a very different end of the spectrum, Bridget Jones is back without Hugh Grant, and there's a baby involved.
That's right. So 12 years after the disastrous sequel, which I think a lot of people forgot about, they should call this Bridget Jones's Redemption, because I have to say, it's very silly. Mechanically, too, there are a lot of problems with like some of the editing, some of the continuity errors. Like one scene, she took her shirt off, and then the shirt magically is back on in the next scene. That aside, though, I can't deny that it was funny. I mean, there were some great bits in it. There were some great gags. Here's what happens. Bridget has intimate relations with Mr. Darcy, Colin Firth's back, and Patrick McDreamy Dempsey, who's essentially he's filling in for the Hugh Grant role. And then weeks later, she's pregnant, and the big question, Riaz, who's the daddy?
Sounds like a Maury Povich episode.
But you mentioned Hugh Grant. You don't really miss him. They do reference what happened to him, but Dempsey fills the role nicely, and Emma Thompson, she's a secret weapon here as Bridget's doctor in a scene-stealing bit here. And Colin Firth, the guy's like a rock. He is awesome. And Bridget, Renee Zellweger, Oscar winner, she's still got a ton of talent, so she steps effortlessly back into the role. They've got a great cast here. They're all on board. They're all having fun. It does have its flaws. It's very silly, of course, but I have to say it was very funny, and the audience was really enjoying it.
Where are you going with this one, Graham?
I think it's going to be a bit of a comeback for Zellweger. It was delightful, and it was sweet and charming despite some flaws. 3 out of 5.
Solid 3s across the board.
There you have it.